Starfleet really did waste Data's potential, and Star Trek totally agrees. Star Trek has long prided itself on its vision of the future, a galaxy where knowledge is treasured, exploration is paramount, and sentient life, organic or synthetic, is treated with dignity. Within the utopian ideal, it's almost painful to admit that one of Starfleet's brightest lights, Lieutenant Commander Data, was largely underutilized. Yes, the golden android with a brain the size of a starship computer, the capacity for superhuman analysis, and a moral compass more consistent than most humans, spent the better part of Star Trek, the next generation in roles that barely scratched the surface of his potential. And remarkably, Star Trek itself acknowledges this oversight through subtle story beats, character commentary, and even metatextual nudges. First, let's examine Data's skill set. Data is, on paper, a prodigy of epic proportions. His processing power allows him to perform calculations and solve problems that would take a human weeks or months in mere seconds. He has encyclopedic knowledge of multiple sciences, literature, languages, and even obscure interstellar cultures. His body provides him strength, speed, and resilience far beyond that of the average Starfleet officer. He is, for all intents and purposes, a near-perfect officer, except, of course, for the one human trait Starfleet often emphasizes: emotional intuition. But even that limitation is arguably a narrative convenience, not a true barrier to his usefulness. Yet despite all of this, what do we mostly see Data doing in TNG? He mans the bridge, serves as an advisor, participates in away missions, and occasionally gets caught in philosophical dilemmas about humanity. Rarely does he take on missions that fully exploit his computational genius or physical prowess in a leadership capacity. Sure, Data leads a few away teams in episodes like The Measure of a Man and Redemption, but more often, he's relegated to performing tasks a competent lieutenant could handle. Starfleet's refusal, or perhaps reluctance, to deploy him in a role befitting his capabilities is baffling. Why not have him run complex negotiations, decode alien systems in real time, or handle high-risk situations that would be suicidal for an organic crew? The show itself provides answers, but in doing so, it highlights Starfleet's glaring inefficiency. One of the clearest acknowledgments comes through the character's own words. Captain Picard consistently treats Data as a valued officer, yet there's an undercurrent of hesitation when it comes to giving him more decisive responsibilities. In The Most Toys, for example, Data is kidnapped and forced into a life or death scenario, a scenario Starfleet might have anticipated but could do little to prevent because they never fully leveraged his capabilities in the first place. Episodes like this subtly underline the frustration. Data could have been the perfect contingency against numerous threats, yet Starfleet often keeps him in a supporting role. Even the narrative itself seems aware of the irony. In peak performance, the crew engages in simulated combat exercises, and Data's efficiency is contrasted with human unpredictability. The episode doesn't just showcase Data's superiority, it implicitly critiques Starfleet for not employing that superiority in the field more consistently. The show repeatedly gives us glimpses of what Data could achieve if unleashed in full, and those glimpses are tantalizing. They serve as an ongoing commentary on Starfleet's conservatism and its sometimes overcautious approach to personnel management. Star Trek also uses Data's story arcs to underscore the waste of his talents. In Descent, Data is manipulated by lore, revealing both the power of his android mind and the vulnerability of Starfleet to underutilizing such resources. Similarly, in Time's Arrow, Data plays a pivotal role in solving temporal anomalies, again, a task that highlights what Starfleet could have benefited from on a regular basis. The show repeatedly showcases these moments, but they are exceptions, not the rule. The pattern is clear. Starfleet acknowledges Data's abilities, but it often fails to integrate him into missions where his potential would make the most difference. Part of the issue stems from Starfleet's adherence to hierarchy and tradition. There is an implicit belief that leadership must be organic, emotionally driven, and fallible, qualities that Data, in his quest to become more human, inherently lacks. Starfleet's reverence for human intuition creates a ceiling for Data, limiting his deployment to positions where human officers can exercise traditional command. This isn't just a plot device. It's a commentary on institutional rigidity. Starfleet's ideals are noble, but its application is occasionally short-sighted, resulting in wasted brilliance. What's more, Star Trek doesn't shy away from showing the consequences of this underutilization. In multiple episodes, critical situations spiral precisely because Data is not fully empowered. The viewer is left wondering, how many crises could have been avoided if Starfleet had leaned into his extraordinary capabilities rather than treating him as an interesting sidekick or philosophical mirror to humanity? The message I